Hello.
Hello.
Hello, am I audible to you?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible to you?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you, but I'm not able to hear Dimple.
Okay. I'll give you a best example so that you'll understand. So, public preview is something where there is one feature which is made available for a longer time and larger audience, where they can try that public feature and they can configure something and they can use it. Okay, as long as it is available and at a discounted price. But that preview may continue to the GA or not. It is not authenticated. If it is coming to public, that means it will go for GA. There is no such thing. They may not continue also. But it is available for the larger audience. Private preview is it is available only for a certain stipulated standard time, short time frame, and it will be invited to only some group of developers and people who are doing high development activities, so that in order to record the feedback from them about that preview. If it is like if it has so many issues that may continue, may not continue within that stipulated time. Okay, got the clarity?
Yes.
As I mentioned, your public preview is available to everyone. Required registrations, obviously. It will be provided registration to very less number of people. They'll receive the email information stating that there is a new private preview is available. They have to register for it, and then after they can use it and they can provide their feedback. There is no cost incurred for the private preview, but public preview possibly there are some services might be may be available, and that might incur the cost with you, but not like it is highly cost very low. So this is how it looks. Private preview, how it works. So announcing private preview of Azure VM Image Builder. Today I'm excited to announcing that private preview of the Azure VM Builder service allow you to have an image building pipeline in the Azure, creating a standard VM image for allow the organization to migrate to the cloud, ensure the consistency in the deployment, and user commonly wants VM to include the predefined security and configured setting as well as the configuration software by own. So, does anyone heard about the customized OUs, where there are some of the features will not be available to the users? It will. Why? Because I have worked on the SCCM platform, wherein we will get the MDT deployment tool, on which will be a deployment workbench tool. On top of it, image will be customized. We can insert the other application inside the image, or we can remove the certain features from the image, and we can customize the image as per our requirement, and we can deploy it. So that same feature in the private preview, Azure has announced. So that is the private preview which is announced, and that if you want to try it, you have to register for it, and you have to try it. You have to provide your feedback. Top of once you use it. Okay, that's how it looks. So it shows like this. You have to sign up, and the feedback that you have to give, and then after close. They may continue, they may not continue. So as you understood what is private preview and a public preview, now you'll get to know what is GA. One is pinging.
Yeah, I'm able to hear you all okay.
It's very feeble, Tanya. It's very feeble. Probably the mic or mouth speaker, you can say it is not near to you. It's very feeble. tiny voice.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's
Is
much
it-
audible now.
No. Okay.
But I feel like there is some latencies also there with which is attached to your voice, but it is audible now. Okay. Any
Oh.
questions, Tanya, related to the previous topics that we have discussed, related to the preview, public preview, and the private preview?
Not so far. Okay, one
Okay.
moment. Who gets to register any assumption that somebody, these people only can register for the private view, or anybody can register?
The funda is in private preview. For example, I'm the co-developer of some big company and I have much interactions with the Azure. And one certain situations they have given some webinar. So in that webinar, I have they have said me to register my name so that you will receive the private preview information. So if I register, I'll receive an email. It is up to me whom do I circulate. Okay, if I circulate it to 10 people, 10 people can register. There is no limitations, but it is not a global broadcasting. It's broadcasting done. It will be done to a very limited people who are much known to the Azure team, so that they can try that and they can give the feedback to Azure stating that this feature has some problems, or this has to be tuned before it going to be GA. Okay.
And one more thing, in private preview, you have to register yourself for getting these services, right?
Obviously, you have to register.
And there was a question that is the portal different or not? Portal is same, right? In the same place you get to see all these.
Yes. Portal is same. So now, as you know, the private preview and the public preview, I hope you also know about GA. Why? Because we discussed about GA also. Can anyone tell me what is GA? General availability. What is the term general availability?
Yeah, so basically general availability, when the services comes onto the Azure portal and available for all the customer of Azure. Basically, it's a production environment, and in case of general availability, you will get SLA for that services, which not available in private and public one, right?
Obviously. To put through in a proper way, as Mayank said, these are all the features of it. It's a last stage of life cycle of any product that is introduced by Azure. For example, if they have created some XYZ product and they have released into the environment, I mean to the subscriptions, they have made it initially for private preview and then after the public preview. If all feedbacks are fine and everything is went well, they'll make it a GA. When they're making GA, obviously they'll tend to do that they will attach the SLS to that services which they have authentically took the feedbacks and it's been certified and approved by the Azure to make it GA. So whenever it is crossing this whenever it is going to the last stage of life cycle of product to the GA, any service in the GA will have one SLA attached to it, so that if something went wrong with that feature, the Azure team will be liable and they have to provide the services to that particular service. Okay, so that's where we call it as GA. So if we see, it's WAF, application web application firewall. So web application firewall for Azure, it's a front door service which is now generally available. So what does that mean? This particular service, it's kind of a firewall which is in front of an application or a service or any storage which monitors your connectivity towards the what do you call application, which will do the job of it. And this is available as a GA. That means it incurs a cost. If someone is opting the service, it incurs a cost. And as well as, if once it is incurring a cost and if it's available for everyone, obviously you also should understand that this also has an SLA. If that this particular WAF service goes down, you can raise a case stating that my WAF is not working properly and I need a support on this. There will be an SLA attached to that service and they'll help you to resolve the issue. That's how it is. So any such kind of GAs, you can see this information on a public service, public note on a documentation service portal of Azure. Yeah. Someone is telling something.
So Ibrahim, how do I know particular service is a GA or private or a public?
Private is something you'll get to know. Why? Because I'll tell you the portal where it will be available. You see this?
Hmm.
If you go for virtual machine, you have this all. So if you open this one directly to go to the products, so these all are GA services. Open anything, which if you see, you will have overview information, features, security, pricing model, it or documentation, everything will be there. If something went wrong, what kind of services will be provided, what is the SLA, everything will attach to it. Whatever things which are available here in the Azure as part of product, those are all GS. And if it is available in your Azure, what do you call, in a marketplace or in your Azure subscription, it's GA. But previews will not be available in marketplace. But if you want to make this previews available into the marketplace, so into your subscription, you have to register for it initially, so that it will be made as available for you in your subscription. Okay, that's where it makes the difference.
So where is the preview? Sorry, where is the private preview component?
Yes.
How do I see them?
These are the now available in preview.
You went to update. Okay.
Azure updates. You see this public preview, automated deployment of always availability groups through the Azure portal. Azure Cache for Redis Visual Studio Code extension is now in preview. So you'll get it from
Information.
here.
Okay.
For example, if you want to see the available, just remove these all and filter the results. You'll see the information related to the migrate to Azure availability zone now available. So if you want to know detail about this information, this particular service which is up there as available, you will click on it. It will take you to this one. Click on this one. It will be however the documents related to each and everything will be get updated now and then. Why? Because obviously any information which is been modified has to be in a single document. So though the base documents will be updated, post which you can understand what is that means. For example, if you have created one VM server and you want to make that particular VM server as an availability zone, obviously you can do that using this service. So if you want to try it, you will have a try it on hands-on log. You can directly click here. It will take you to the path from where you will have a module. You just click on it. It will take you to the sandbox. I meant to say it's a what is sandbox is? Sandbox is a 8 hours, uh, 8 hours what do you call, designed subscription. One, it will enable it for you if you're logging in with your account, Outlook account or MSN account. Sign in with that. Once you sign in with that, what happens? It will give you a sandbox to your account. After the 8 hours, automatically that sandbox will get it. Whatever the configurations that you do, it will remove. So that's where we call it as hands-on log. Okay, that is how it works. So any doubts here?
No.
Okay. Oh God, seems like we have completed the sample arc. So I have just kept it for you guys, just to show how the pretty odd architecture on premises. If you're connecting it to the VM, sorry, in the Azure data center, how the other services we can encourage it one place, and we can see the communications running through and through. So if you see the clients, we have clients and clients connecting to the on-premises data center. We can connect the information and we can transact the information between the mobiles and the on-premises data center. And those clients which we, if you want to manage, we need to have one more another tool. We will call it as an SCCM. So we have security operating center which manages these all information, endpoint protection, and Active Directory will manage the on-premises. So if you, for example, if you're using some software as services, which is pretty different from your on-premises data center, you don't have any communication between the on-premises data center and the software as services which you are using from the Office 365. Unfortunately, if you think you want to make this entire the software as a service and the on-premises clients and data centers clubbed, managed by centralized, so we have a common solution that is called as Azure. Azure AD, which will help you to make the hybrid connection between the O365. Why? Because in order to run O365, you need Azure Active Directory at any cost. It doesn't mean that you need a subscription, but you will get a subscription. It will not cost you anything. It will not cost you anything. Azure Active Directory will be free of cost when you go for software as a service. Why? Because it will manage your identities. You will see if you want to sync anything to the Azure. Obviously, you can use ADD tool and make the syncs to happen from your on-premises data center from here. Can you even see my cursor from here? Active Directory Center to Azure Active Directory using the hybrid configuration. So it's kind of a security one, security architecture, guys. So the what are things which comes into picture when you're going for Azure? What are things that you have to manage on premises on the Azure is something that is showing here. Security applications, you see this is a Palo Alto and this is Cisco gateway and we have other applications to manage on premises. Post which you can see from Azure side, we have your policies, keyword WAF, anti-malware policy and DDoS protection from the Azure side. This is from the on premises and these connectivities will happen and this will help you to protect your environment. And if you see once if you go to the Azure, the management of unmanaged devices is also easy by using the Intune. Before that, what we have a system center configuration manager. As I said, you SCCM rather than SCCM, you can go for Intune. Azure provides the Intune solution in place of SCCM. You can manage them and you can manage the security of those devices which are there on the internet using the Azure. So the whatever the information which is there your on premises related to the identity will be synced to the Azure so that you can enable MFA and you can make these access these particular what do you call authentications to happen from the on premises from the on premises only, not from the Azure. Why? Because it's up to you. If you sync the hash table of your password, it will do the authentication from Azure Active Directory. If you don't want that authentications to happen from the Azure using ADFS, if someone is trying to access something from the Azure, they have to get authenticator from the on premises. That ADFS will help you to achieve it. So these are the features which you can see if you're going for Azure Active Directory. What are the things that you can do? You can do the behavior analysis. You can do the what do you call extra AD protection layers can add. You can enable the MFA. You can do the business to business configurations also. You can do the PAM and you can put some informational conditions so that you can control the security features also from the Azure itself. You can do everything as centralized and as you see you'll also see these under security operations. You have the security apps which you can deploy from the Azure. So advanced threat protections you can enable it for not only for your defender or security center but also for Office and Azure. That's where you can achieve these guys. Azure Sentinel is something that I haven't come across through. Why? Because I have to attend the webinar. Then post will I'll understand what is the use of it and how we can implement it on so this kind of an odd architecture that I want to show it final note so that you'll understand. It's kind of a pretty difficult architecture, guys, that I am currently which I'm working on. I have similar kind of architecture, not but all features are configured. Very few of the features are configured. So out of those few features, this is somewhere it is correlating with my present architecture. So Azure is something which only not concentrate on data delivery, but also the store, what do you call security features, securing the communications which are happening to the Azure, to the client, to and from, and also it has the ability to analyze the communications which are going to the Azure, sending from the Azure. It can encrypt the to and fro communications, and also it has a stabilized environment where if something went wrong, we can rest assured why because Azure is always there to protect us and help us. So that's it, guys. So any post questions you ask, just give me a minute to go through it. And if you have any questions, obviously these all features are not covered in the Azure 900. Azure 900 is only kind of an overview. What are all the features which are there in the Azure? What are they and what are the uses of it? You will understand it. But how to implement is something that if you want to understand totally in proper way, that you have to go through 104 or 103. So it will make you to understand how we can configure it and how we can use it for our current architecture. That's it, guys. Any questions? Just
Thank
post and
you,
make note of it.
Ram. Just that when I was going through the questions, I think the storage part was not very clear. Storage and database different configuration, which one has less latency. Me to refer
Storage part.
because in this PPT, storage and database,
Hmm.
different questions I was not able to answer. Something somewhere like with the JSON script, something was the data lake, right? Those questions I was not able to answer. Is that something which I should refer somewhere else?
No,
And also the
I'll explain you
uh,
about that again if you don't mind. We'll have a recap again,
okay,
wherein we can I will what do you call, clear you all doubts. Just make note of all the doubts, guys, so that while
sure.
one, however, if you have time to join with me tomorrow, as Lucky said today, we'll have some run around to the question papers also. So
Hmm.
if you have any doubts, make a note of it. We'll discuss it at any cost.
Okay. Tomorrow then
L-
I will prepare all these and keep it ready then. Thank you.
Sure, 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 sure. So